What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on into the Phillies Pre-Game Show hosted by DSM Media. Of course, I'm your boy, Ed Barcelo Philly. And of course, I am joined by my two DSMers. We got intern Cole and Jason Voorhees in the building. Intern Cole, how you feeling here today, man? We got Phillies baseball here. A good rivalry start off here on a Monday.
I'm doing great. I'd do better if they weren't making announcements in my dorm as we started. But, it is what it is. Can't do much about that. But, yeah, I'm excited. It was a rough one yesterday, but I'm fully expecting the Phillies to bounce back today.
Absolutely. We'll get to that in just a second. Intern Cole still has school duties to do, so he'll be watching the Phillies from campus. So shouts out to Intern Cole doing his thing out there. And, of course, Jason Voorhees, he's all Phillied up. He's got the hood. He's got the fitted. What's going on, Jason? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, man. Nothing better than Phillies-Mets rivalry. I mean, it's like Eagles-Cowboys for me. It's like Flyers-Devils or Flyers-Pittsburgh. It's got all the juices. Great fans. Both teams travel well, and I'm extremely hyped because I think both teams are really good this year. So I think it's going to make the rivalry even better.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. I mean, just like Philadelphia sports versus New York sports, there's always animosity with both of these cities when it comes to sports. And there's so many great memories. And it feels though both of these teams over the past couple of years haven't been, elite ball clubs, but there's still been that bitterness, and it's been adding on to that rivalry. Obviously, last year's Jose Alvarado with Dom Smith going at that was freaking fantastic. Hopefully we can get some more. Maybe we can get a little sweep in here as well and get some New York Mets gentlemen.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So before we look at this series here with the New York Mets, let's look back at what happened yesterday on Sunday afternoon baseball. The Phillies closing out the series against the Oakland A's. Unfortunately, we did not get the sweep that we anticipated. It was a chilly day down at CBP, and the bats were also cold as well, as the Phillies were only able to muster one run off of 3 hits, a 4-1 victory here. 4-1 loss to the Oakland A's. And I saw, as anticipated, Philly fans being Philly fans, we love our Philly fans, but there was some overreactions, a lot of people stressing over the third game of a young season. I get it. It is the Oakland A's, but you can't expect this team to go 162-0. But I'll throw it to you guys. Jason, were you worried at all by yesterday's performance?
Absolutely not. I mean, you know me. I'm a baseball guy. Baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. It's the third game, folks. I get it. Listen, we're always going to look at everything in a microscope because we're Philly. That's what we do. That's what we do best. But, in the scheme of things, yes, it was the Oakland A's. Should we win? Absolutely. But you're going to have your down games. Obviously, the offense, the first 2 games, put up some, game 1 scored 9 runs. Game 2 scored 4. But overall, the offense looked good. And you're going to have your days where, and you mentioned it, it was cold out. And a lot of times when it's cold, that can do absolute numbers on your hitters. I mean, it's a lot easier to be a pitcher in the cold than it is hitting. And that's just the norm. So I'm with Cole. I look for the team to bounce back. I'm not overreacting. No, it's one game.
Joe Girardi, why the hell are you starting Johan Camargo and Garrett Stubbs? What are you doing?
I mean, listen, I was not too happy with Joe Girardi. I mean, I don't, let that's a known fact with me. I'm not a huge Joe Girardi guy, but I'm not going to sit, like I said, it's game 3. Yeah, I was a little annoyed that he, after Bohm had a really good game, I thought he needed to be back out there. Because that's what I think young players need. They don't need to be platooned to the point where it's like so micromanaged. I think you go with the hot guy. And listen, I know Cotter's been saying it, and I'm saying it because I realistically believe that there shouldn't be anything wrong if you have Stott and Bohm starting in this lineup when you have all the other veterans on this team. I mean, we mentioned the big 5 with Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, Hoskins, and JT. But let's not forget Gene Segura. I mean, he's been huge. Even last year, hitting over 300. I mean, I know Harper won MVP, but Gene Segura had a hell of a year last year, and he's starting off right where he left off. So kudos to that guy. I love Gene Segura. I'm a huge Segura fan. So
Absolutely. Currently batting 364, obviously early on, but Gene Segura is definitely an important piece to this batting lineup here for the Phillies. It's funny all the criticism that Camargo and Garrett Stubbs had yesterday, and both of those gentlemen were part of the three people that had hits in that loss to the Oakland A's. Intern Cole, my man, were you concerned whatsoever about anything yesterday in the loss to the Oakland A's?
I am completely concerned. I think we're going to go 2-160 this year. Season's over. No, in all seriousness, no, I'm not concerned. I was more concerned with Ben May and his ability to be an umpire. I think he needs to get that checked out a little bit. But other than that, no. Camargo and Stubbs both look decent. Phillies just cold day, wind blowing. Wasn't a great day for offense. And as we know, the Phillies are an offensive team. I don't think Zach Eflin pitched horrible. I think he just had a hard time finding the zone. And by that, I mean Ben May's astronomically ridiculous zone. But all in all, he did throw a lot of balls yesterday. So I was a little concerned. If I was concerned with anything, it would be Ben May, Joe Girardi, and Zach Eflin, but not really concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. So through four innings, Zach Eflin, he allowed 2 hits, no earned, and had 3 strikeouts yesterday. So not a terrible first outing here on the day. Obviously, when you don't have the run support, it kind of makes it a little bit difficult as a pitcher. But I think Eflin, once it gets warmer, he'll also be warming up as well. So not too many concerns here for myself either against the Oakland A's. You're going to have these days, you're going to have these type of games, and everyone should just relax, breathe. We'll be definitely okay. But let's move into today, guys, because obviously, look, we kind of touched upon it at the top of this. We don't need to hype this up. This is Philly. This is New York. The Mets and Phillies going at it here today for this 3-game series in this top of the week here. And it should be a lot of fun seeing both of these teams going at it. A lot of anticipation the offseason. Both teams spent big money, as we all know. The second and the fourth highest payroll baseball going at it here today. So we're going to see a lot of money being flying around here. But let's look at the pitching matchup to start off here against the New York Mets. So we're going to have Taijuan Walker going up against my guy. You guys know my love for Ranger Suarez. Suarez getting his first start of the season. I am so excited. I really hope that he can continue on the season that he had last year. Finally, Joe Girardi gave him the opportunity near the end of the season to give him those starts. You guys remember when we were trying to still trot out Spencer Howard and Ranger Suarez had to save him, and now he's starting. And I hope that today starts a great campaign for Ranger Suarez here. Intern Cole, my man, what are you looking forward to here with this pitching matchup with Taijuan and Ranger?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, I was big on Ranger Suarez as well. I'm excited. I thought he had a great end of the season last year. And I think just the biggest thing is like we always say, is the Phillies don't have to have the best rotation in the league. They don't have to have the best bullpen in the league. The Phillies need to do is have good enough pitching to win. So I think no matter how he gets it done, if he can go out there and help the Phillies win today, that's the biggest thing. If that's only letting up, I said if Zach Eflin and the Phillies let up runs, they're going to win yesterday. And I was wrong because the weather wasn't in their favor. And, they just didn't play their best game. I think they bounced back today. It's a lot warmer out, a lot less wind. So I would just like to see a solid game out of Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, man. Hopefully it is a little bit warmer because we know Ranger Suarez can definitely dish out that heat as well. It should be a fun matchup too between both of these guys. Jason Voorhees, what are you looking forward to with this pitching matchup?
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of pretty much summed it up. I mean, Ranger Suarez to me is definitely a guy that I'm super excited to see advance as far as in his career. Last year, obviously, I wouldn't say he was a surprise because obviously he was a pretty decent prospect in their system, but I was a little surprised that he was actually the one that turned out to be the better of the two other guy that you had mentioned, who's no longer here, which I'm kind of glad because I think we found out about that guy. He was very soft. He couldn't go for more than 5 innings and without needing a break. But anyway, Ranger Suarez, what I love the most about him is he's consistent. he hits his pitches on a consistent basis. He doesn't let the big stage phase him. He's very calm, even in pressure situations. And I think he proved that. And I also think there's something to be said about guys that, when they're early in their career, when they come up as a reliever and then move into that starting role, I think being a reliever actually helps with those high pressure situations, because a lot of times you're in more of them when you are a relief pitcher and you're put into situations where it might be a bases loaded, no outs, and you have to get out of it. And that ability has helped him as a starter, because I think it shows you the mentality of where you want to go, inning by inning. So that's where I'm at.
All right, so I had to, out of curiosity, I had to check in on Spencer Howard down in Texas. So he actually started yesterday in a win for the Texas Rangers, a 12-6 victory, by the way. He went 3 innings. He allowed 6 hits and 6 earned runs. So that was Spencer's. And he looks like he had it on a few extra LBs as well. But that's what Spencer Howard's doing right now down in Texas. So that should
Good for him. Good for
Good
him.
ratings.
Picking up where he left off.
He's definitely enjoying his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches down in Texas for sure. All right, gentlemen, let's look at the batting lineup here today against the New York Mets in Game 1. There we go. So starting in leadoff, of course, Kyle Schwarber sticking in his spot there and starting in left field. In the 2 slot, we got our starting catcher, J.T. Real Muto. And then in our 3rd slot, we have Bryce Harper starting at right field. In the 4 hole, we got Nick Castellanos, and he will be DHing today. In the 5 hole, Rhys Hoskins starting at first base. In the 6 hole, you got Didi Gregorius at shortstop. In the 7 hole, you got Gene Segura and starting at second base. And in the 8 hole, you got Alec Bohm starting in 3rd base. And, of course, we got Matt Vierling rounding it out, starting in center field with your pitcher today, as we mentioned, Don Ranger Suarez. All right, gentlemen, what do we think of today's lineup? It looks like the opening day lineup here. What do you got, Cole?
I'm not happy for one reason and one reason only. Didi Gregorius is in the lineup. You know how I feel about Didi. The only thing that would be worse would be Adubel Herrera being out there. No, in all seriousness, though, I would love to see Stott out there instead of Didi actually every day, and I'm going to continue to complain about it until Girardi listens, so I'm going to continue to complain about it till I die. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be nice, I'm excited to see JT come back. JT, I know he struggled a little bit the first 2 games. I think he only has 1 hit. I think he's like batting 167 or something like that. So I'm really hoping to see a little bit of a bigger day out of him. Segura's another guy. I mean, Segura's been red hot with the bat recently. And Parcero, I've made this prediction twice already. I'm 1-1. I might have to make it again. We'll save that for later, though. But just all around, I'm just excited to see the big bats. Harper's another guy who I will see a little more out of. I mean, not going to bash Harper just because it's Bryce freaking Harper. But it is, he has had a rough start to the season. There's no 2 ways around that. And like he said, we got to let him know when he sucks. And right now, he's not playing great. So I'm hoping to see a little bit more out of him today. I mean, he'll get a pass much longer than most people. But, yeah, I hope everybody does well except for Didi so he doesn't get to play ever again. And go Phillies.
Go Phillies. Jason, what do you think, man?
It's so funny because me and Cole are aligning very well on this show. Like, both of us thinking the same way. I'm a little annoyed because I too am a huge Bryson Stott guy, and I do think that Didi Gregorius, although he did sit yesterday, I'd rather see Didi in that bench role, and I think that's the point where I'm at with him. Not that he can't be dangerous, and not that he can't be a dangerous left-handed bat, but I'm a guy that believes that when you have the amount of veteran presence, you don't need Didi. You can get away with letting Bohm and Stott get their feet wet as starters, because I think that's really the only way that they progress. Now, listen, I get it that we're on a fast track because we went over the tax, and Girardi's probably thinking, well, I got to go with the best lineup. But I don't necessarily think Didi's a better hitter than Stott. Yes, he's the veteran, but I think Stott proved in the spring that he had a hot bat. to me, I'm all about going with the hot, who has the hot hand. And right now, I think you need to be playing your guys that are, I said the same thing about Alec Boehm. He had a really good game, and then you sit him. So I'm hoping that, he continues that tonight. I'm glad he's back in the lineup. As far as lineup overall, I mean, I'm looking at the Phillies right now, and yes, they are, okay, it's 3 games in, so they're 15th in the league in hitting at 231. The Mets are swinging a really hot bat, and that's the funny thing because a lot of people said, and of course, listen, we're Phillies fans. We're going to be homers to a certain extent, but a lot of people were saying, oh, how the Mets' strength is their pitching, which it is. Now, let's face it, DeGrom is out. We don't know how long. Could be long term. But their hitting is actually slept on. And if you think about it, a lot of that has to do with guys like Francisco Lindor, who, when the Mets got him, let's face it, we all wanted – I wanted him. I loved Francisco Lindor. I wanted him – when the Mets got him, I was pissed off. And the year that he had last year, let's face it, sometimes there's just guys that just have a bad year. I mean, it happens to a lot of people. I'm expecting Francisco Lindor to be the elite guy that he was. So that makes the Mets that much better of a lineup. So far, they're swinging a hot bat. That's been their strength, believe it or not. So I don't know where you're at, Porcero, but that's just my outside perspective.
No, absolutely. You definitely raised some good points. The Mets bats in their previous series, 3-1 series win over the Washington Nationals. They definitely had the bats swinging. We had a 5 runs, 7 runs, 5 runs, 8, and then in the loss yesterday, they only scored 2 runs. But that the bats are definitely something that we're going to be looking at in this one. But as far as his lineup goes, I think for myself, we've had Schwarber bombs, we've had Bryce bombs, Gene bombs, Reese bombs. But the one thing I've been noticing, and I was reading Corey Seidman's article on NBC Sports Philly. Shout out to Corey, great guy covering the Phils. But between Harper, Castellanos, and JT Realmuto, they are 4 for 32 in the first series against the Oakland A's, which is crazy to think. And the amount of runs that we were able to score, and those core guys were only 4 for 32, which is crazy. So we'll see if those bats can get wake up a little bit. Obviously, Castellanos did have a homer. He did have a couple RBIs, but definitely JT and Bryce kind of starting off a little slow, but that's definitely okay when you have some of these bats here. So I'm definitely interested to see what happens there. But also, too, Matt Vierling rounding out. He's not had a great start to the season either, and I want to see him get some confidence. The way he ended last year was very reassuring for this year. He took an opportunity for a team trying to fight for a playoff spot, and I want to see him get back on the dish there. So hopefully he can get back to his usual self there for sure. But let's look at some of these keys, guys. Let's start off with Jason. The keys today for a victory for the Phillies in Game 1 against the Mets.
Well, as always, I'm going to say the first key is to work the pitcher. Make him throw strikes. Tawan Walker, he's not a bad pitcher. He's actually, pretty decent. He's had decent stretches, but he's a guy that can become inconsistent and wild. And so my thing is, let's try to work some walks, get on base. That's some of the things that this Phillies team is capable of, especially with Kyle Schwarber at the leadoff spot. Let's not try to be swinging at first pitches unless the guy's throwing meatballs, right? From Jump Street. I want to work the pitcher, let him get in trouble, get some guys on base, so that way when you do hit a home run, it's not a solo shot. You know what I'm saying? That's my case.
Oh, yeah.
Work the pitcher, get on base, and then as far as Ranger Suarez, my thing is just keep doing what you're doing, be consistent, hit your pitches and work the strike zone. And I think that's the 2 keys. Obviously, as you said, Bryce Harper. I'm looking for Bryce Harper to actually break out tonight. I think this is the game that he does some damage.
Let's hope so, man. Let's hope so. What about you, Cole?
For me, something I've noticed, and I know it's only 3 games in, is in the first 2 games, the games the Phillies won when the offense was hot, the ball was coming off the bat well. Somebody lit a spark early, whether it was Schwarber, Castellanos, somebody lit a spark for the Phillies early. So I'm expecting a sparklet tonight by somebody early in the game. And Parcer, I think you know where I'm going with this. We're gonna see
Yeah,
Schwarbaum
yeah.
to lead it off. We're gonna all right. I'll say that if this doesn't work out, this is the last time. This is the last time for a while. I'll take a little bit of a break, but no, I do expect somebody to start a spark early, and I'm going with the Schwarbaum to lead it off. You know, I love me some Kyle Schwarber, but all
Kyle
in all,
Schwarber.
the bats need to be moving better today. The Phillies just got to get runs on the board, get hits. Everyone needs to be able to hit the ball. The more people that are hitting the ball, the better. I know that's cliche. I know that's obvious, but not relying on 3-4 guys to get all the hits. The whole lineup needs to get hits tonight. And for Suarez, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be for every pitcher minus Zach Wheeler. Don't give up more than like 3-4 runs. That's literally all you're going to need to do, and the bats should be able to take care of you from there. If a pitcher goes out there and they give up only like 3 or 4 runs, and the bullpen gives up maybe 1, and the Phillies lose, I can't sit there and blame it all on pitching.
Absolutely,
Now, when we're scoring 6-7 runs and then we're losing games 8-7, then all right, pitching, it's on you.
I'm with you. That's spot on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And on to your point, Kyle Schwarber, I predict him doing a lot of damage in the series as a whole. In his career, he's been known as a Met killer. So, Mets fans, the nightmare's back for you. So let's hope for some good at bats here for Kyle Schwarber. Quick question: I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on how many innings do you see Ranger Suarez going in, Jason?
I think if he's commanding the zone, I think he could go 5 or 6. I'd like to see at least 5. I mean,
yeah,
obviously being early in the season, you can't like get your hopes up to the point where you're overreacting and saying he needs to go 7 or 8. But I mean, he's a young guy. If he keeps his pitches down, I think it's easily he can get 5 innings at least. I'd like to see 6, if at all possible.
Absolutely. What about you, Cole?
I'm going to go 6. I think we'll get 6 solid innings out of him. He'll give up 2 or 3 runs, I feel like. The bullpen will come in, hopefully only give up 1 or 2 more runs, and I could see the Phillies should win this game. So I would say 6.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, he definitely command that strike zone. I'm curious to see how this game goes as well, as far as will it be an absolute crazy hitting fest, or will we have a pitching duel on our hands? It'll definitely be interesting to see for sure. And for these Phillies pitchers, going to be some solid matchups going up. Obviously, Wheels probably come back tomorrow. Obviously, Ranger Suarez and Zach Wheeler got the spring training a little later, so that's why they're pushed back in the rotation. And then on Wednesday, Wheel's going to go up against Tyler Meagle, and then on Wednesday, Noel's going to go up against Scherzer. So there you go, guys. This should be some fun pitching matchups here these next couple games against the New York Mets. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
Prediction.
Real quick before predictions,
yeah.
You mentioned Met killer. Well, don't forget Gene Segura is a Met killer as well. If you remember, he hit a grand slam off their closer, and we won. I think it was a walk-off last year.
Yeah, man.
Segura, and he hits the Mets very well too. So there's quite a few Met killers in this lineup. But like
Harper.
I said, there you go.
Bryce is another one for sure, man. For sure. Yeah, let's get to these predictions, guys. What do we see happening here today against the New York Mets in Game 1? Cole, if you want to go first, that's fine.
I think Phillies will win this game 6-4. I think Suarez goes 6 innings, 2 runs. I think the bullpen gives up 2 more runs. But I think we see a lot of Met killers today. Just leading off with a Schwarbaum to start off the game. I see Segura having a big game. I see Harper having a big game. I just see the bats moving well today, and I see the Phillies getting a 6-4 win.
Alrighty. What about you, Jason?
Well, it's funny because Cole actually had my score, so I'm going to change mine because I don't think we can have the same. So I'm going to go 7-5. I'll up the run each, and I do believe that Suarez will pitch well. It'll be the bullpen that gives up a couple runs. Middle relief.
Okay.
I know,
okay.
Aaron checking in. I know.
What's going on, Aaron? What do you say?
Met killers.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Um, to see Jerry's Familia does against his former team as well. I had to throw that in there. A long time. Well, he's been there for most of his career. So coming here now, it should be fun watching him going up against the New York Mets. What Jerry's Familia will we get in the series against the New York Mets? Should be a lot of fun.
It's a good call out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So before we get off, guys, we have to bring the story to the fans. So if you were wondering on Saturday during the Oakland A's game why there was no cream jerseys, obviously we know during the home day games, the Phillies don the cream jerseys with the blue and red hats. Currently, right now, just like pretty much everything else in America, it's on back order, and we do not know when it is we will get them. So until then, you're just probably going to be seeing the pinstripes, and then of course the gray uniforms for the away games. So guys, no cream jerseys. I'm so sorry.
Fanatics, you suck just as much as StubHub. StubHub, our beef is not settled. Still have not my money.
Now, if they start
StubHub
sponsoring us, will the beef be over?
Oh, they're not sponsoring us, are they? Oh, if they sponsor us?
If they do, will the beef be over for you, Cole?
I think that's something that we'll have to see the time.
That'll be behind the closed doors beef.
Yeah, no,
That'll be
no,
behind
I
the
don't.
closed doors beef.
Maybe a boxing match between me and StubHub would do. I don't know. But we would have to work something out. But I would.
A cage match.
Yeah, we would have We would have to make some arrangements. But potentially, yes.
That should be really interesting. So real quick before we sign off as well, guys, where do you rank the Mets and Phillies rivalry in your fandom, Jason?
I rank it. I got to be honest with you. Number 2, Eagles
Okay.
Dallas is probably number 1, and Phillies Mets.
Yes.
And I'm a baseball guy. That's why. But it's that much of a rivalry. I mean, I tweeted out before the show about like favorite memories, and Mark Muscatelli checked in. Mark, one of our other DSM guys,
Yes,
from
sir.
the morning show. He nailed 2 really good ones, and the 2 moments were the Doc Gooden brawl which was back in 1990.
Yeah.
That was insane. And then in 2007. The 4-run 9th inning comeback against Billy Wagner, who obviously former Philly, and then he goes to the Mets, and we slayed the dragon, so to
The Mets
speak.
go Mets.
But there's a ton of memories. I mean, like I said, I've been to countless games with Aaron, and I'm sure you guys have all a bunch of memories. So
Yeah, man. What about you, Cole?
Now, I love me some Phillies baseball, but unfortunately, it's number 4 for me.
Okay.
Because obviously number 1 is UNC Duke. I mean, it has to be 1. Shout out Scotty. Tar Heels are better. That has to be number 1. I can't really get around that. Number 2 to me would have to be. Oh, I'm a big Penn State football fan too. Would be Penn State, Ohio State, just because of the memories I was able to share with my dad with watching those games and stuff. Whether they're good or bad memories. Penn State football, like that is the one. Like there's so many memories with my dad from that. Me and my dad only have 2 favorite teams in common. It's the Phillies and Penn State. So, and then number 3 is Eagles Cowboys, and then number 4 is Phillies Mets.
okay,
I'd have to go number 3 for me. Obviously, Dallas and Philly. I mean, no more needs to be said there. Number 2, I can't stand the Celtics, guys. I really, really, really cannot stand the Boston Celtics, so I have to put them there. Then I would go Mets and Phillies. Obviously, you guys know my love for the Philadelphia Union. I hate the Red Bull. I hate that energy drink. I just hate everything about that team. And then I would have to go Penguins and Flyers at number 5. But it's definitely a great Philly rivalry.
I just enjoy college rivalries more than professional rivalries. I don't know if that's because I'm young and a lot of my friends, I have friends that go to Penn State and stuff, and UNC Duke is such a nostalgic rivalry and stuff. So I don't know if that's why, but I'm obsessed with sports in general. So I love all my teams. And trust me, I would get just as mad if the Mets beat us as I will if Duke beats North Carolina or Ohio State beats Penn State.
I agree, man. I agree. Muck the Mets. I like that. Muck the Mets.
Oh no, Carter. Why don't you say it properly?
I just saw that. Very nice. Very nice. All right, gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's pregame show. You two enjoy the game wherever you are watching. And if you guys are watching this, thank you so much, first off, for checking in. And make sure you guys enjoy as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue to bring you more Phillies pregame shows throughout the week. So make sure you guys are subscribed wherever you're watching or follow wherever you're watching as well. And then, of course, make sure you guys check out the rest of the content we got here on DSM Media, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us here. That is Intern Cole. That is Jason Voorhees. Of course, I'm El Parcero Philly, and we're telling you guys, let's go Phils. See you guys.
Ring the bell. Ring